Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm going to be talking you through my perfume collection today, and this was a video suggestion by Cecilia, so thank you very much for your suggestion. Now I just want to say, before I start off, I don't have a massive perfume collection. Back in the day I used to have quite a few different perfumes. I would have full sizes, I would have little mini ones as well. I currently only own 3, so I've not got a big perfume collection for us to deep dive into and talk about, but I'm going to talk about the 3 that I own, but I also want to talk about some favourites as well, some perfumes that I would very gladly tomorrow get back into my collection, perfumes that I have used before in the past and I have loved but I just don't currently own. So for this video I've actually listed all of the top, middle and base notes for all of the perfumes that I want to speak about, because I am rubbish at describing perfumes, so this way I can describe the notes, I can describe how they're meant to smell instead of me going it smells really nice for each perfume. So how I wear my perfumes is that I don't keep perfumes for special occasions, or I don't have like an evening perfume or a special occasion perfume. When I open a perfume I wear it day in day out, every single day without fail, regardless of what I'm doing. So if I've got a day in, I'm being lazy, I'm not going out and I'm just in my pyjamas, I will wear perfume. Likewise, if I'm off out and about, I will wear a perfume. And my preference for perfumes are what I would describe as very heady perfumes, woody, they're strong, they're, I suppose, sexy. I kind of like to be slapped across the face with my perfume. I don't do subtle perfumes. I don't do a barely there, clean, fresh perfume. I like my perfume to smell quite strong, but to be quite bold and sultry and sexy. That's really how I would describe the perfumes that I like to go for, heady and sexy. So I'm going to talk about the 3 perfumes that I currently own, as well as 4 other perfumes that I have used before and I absolutely love. But let's get things started with one of the perfumes that I currently own, which is the perfume that I am working on. So out of the 3 perfumes that I own, this is the one that I'm using every single day. I'm not really touching the other 2 at the moment. I'm going to wait until this one is done. And this one is by Rihanna, and this is Reb'l Fleur Love Always. And I think she's come out with 4 perfumes in total. If she's come out with more, I've only tried 4 of them. I've also tried the black packaging like this, but it's a little bit more see-through. This is a little bit kind of, I'm not going to say cloudy, but it's quite dark, the bottle as well. I've also tried the one that's got the red detailing. Out of the 4 that I've tried, I prefer those 2, and those are exactly like the perfumes that I've just described that I like wearing. Heady, in your face, really quite sultry. She's also come out with a nude one as well, so it's got nude colouring on the bottle. That one's a little bit more subtle, it's not as strong, but still quite a feminine fragrance. And this is the one that I am currently wearing, so this is the Love Always one, and I would probably say that this is my least favourite out of the 4 of them. So obviously Love Always is the one that I am using at the moment, and I've probably got about half of this left. I'm not really going to talk too much, I suppose, about the design of the perfumes. That's not really a big factor in me choosing a perfume. I'm very much about how it smells, but because it is something you leave out on your dressing table or in your bathroom or on a bedside cabinet, for example, it is nice for it to look pretty, for it to look attractive, and it's alright. I've definitely seen prettier bottles, but I've also seen worse bottles. However, what I don't like about this is that it is quite big. So when I go away for the night, overnight or for the weekend, I don't actually take this one with me, because it does take up quite a bit of space. As you can see, it kind of tapers towards the end, but it's this side that's quite big and bulky. But anyway, the main thing that I want to talk about in today's video is how it smells and why I like it. So this is described as being a fruity, sweet perfume, and I would agree with that. It does smell quite sweet. Again, it's quite a strong perfume. Now with fruity perfumes, they can sometimes smell very girly and like sickly sweet. This one doesn't smell like that. The fruits in this are all in the top notes, which are plum, red berries and peach, so more of like your darker fruits. So it's got more of like a sophisticated fruity scent compared to like your zesty fruits. The middle notes are coconut and violet, and the base notes contain some of my favourite fragrances. So the base notes are vanilla, patchouli, amber and musk. and I really love the scent of amber and musk in perfumes. Now the vanilla does cut through, and I think that's where the sweetness comes through, but it's not sickly sweet, and vanilla can very easily become a sickly sweet perfume. However, you want to go easy on this one. You don't want to be drowning your body in perfume. Now, how I typically wear my perfume is when I get dressed for the morning, I'll deodorant, and then I will spray a few spritzes onto my wrist, dab them together like that, and then sort of like press into areas on my body. Now, I have heard that that's not really the right way to apply perfume, but I don't really know what is. And then I'll get dressed, and then I might finish up with a couple of spritzes over the top of my clothing. So I like to layer the perfume. However, with this, I do still layer it, so I do still apply it in the way I just said, but I go for as fewer spritzes as possible because it can become quite strong if you over apply it. But because it is a celebrity fragrance, and this is where I'm probably going to sound quite snobby, but because it is a celebrity fragrance, it's a lower price point, so I do find that throughout the day I tend to not notice the smell on myself, whereas with a couple of the other fragrances I'm going to speak about in a moment, because they're higher end perfumes, I can smell them throughout the day. This one does fade that little bit more quickly. So I know perfumes can be expensive, but I do think it is a case of you get what you pay for sometimes. However, saying that, this is a beautiful smelling perfume. I really like it. Great for everyday wear as well. I know I said that I don't save perfumes for special occasions, but if you are that kind of person, you can get away with wearing this one throughout the day. It's not too heady and too musky and too sexy. It is appropriate for everyday use. I'm not sure if I would repurchase this one though. I liked it, I liked wearing it, but there are definitely others that I prefer wearing. So that is perfume number 1. Perfume number 2, an absolute fan favourite, a cult classic, popular amongst so many people, and it has been for decades. It is Chanel number 5. A very expensive perfume, but it is absolutely gorgeous, and I've loved this since the first time that I tried it, and I think this will always be a favourite of mine. It's just an iconic perfume, even from the design, which in terms of perfume packaging nowadays is relatively simple. However, I feel like that embodies Chanel's brand. Chanel is quite simple, it's quite understated, it's a refined brand. I feel like it's the type of brand that doesn't really go over the top. It's quite sophisticated, and this bottle I feel really pulls that off. Now, I have a little ritual with Chanel number 5. Whenever I go to the airport, I'll go through duty free and I'll hunt down this perfume and I'll spritz myself with a couple of sprays of it before I get on my flight. Don't know why, I don't know where that started, but that's really what I do whenever I get on airplanes now, but it is within my collection now. I haven't had this for a few years, and that's really just because it is so expensive, and I think this bottle is quite small. This is a 35ml bottle, and even at 35ml it's a lot of money. But it is worth it in my opinion. Now, in terms of the notes, it's described as being a woody fragrance. Oh, it's so nice. The top notes are very sort of floral, so you've got ylang ylang, you've got bergamot, and you've got neroli in there as well. Middle notes are jasmine and rose is one of my all-time favourite scents, and that might really be one of the reasons behind why I love this perfume, that rose middle note. And the base notes, the bottom notes are sandalwood, vanilla, amber and musk. So again, vanilla, amber and musk are cropping up. So it's got those base notes that to me are quite heady, quite kind of musky, but you have that fruitiness there with ylang ylang. You've got neroli in there as well. It's just iconic. Now, I know there are some people out there who are very much like, oh, it's an old woman's scent, or people only pick it as their favourite scent because they're trying to be fashionable or trendy. I will not tolerate any Chanel number 5 slander here, thank you. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous perfume. It might not be to everybody's taste, but that's the same for any type of perfume. But for me, I absolutely love it. And because it's Chanel, because it's that higher price point, that high-end brand, you can get away with fewer sprays, and actually fewer sprays are better for higher end brands like this, because it then can become quite intoxicating, quite, you know, headache inducing, and you don't then get to enjoy all the different notes within the perfume. I love this little perfume. I think it is absolutely beautiful, and it's going to look so pretty. Is that on my dressing table? Okay, a third perfume that I own, third and final perfume that I own, but not the last perfume I'm going to talk about, is Yves Saint Laurent Libre Intense. Now, I think I got this for Christmas a couple years ago. I previously tried just Yves Saint Laurent Libre, and I don't know why I put this one on my Christmas list, but I heard that they came out with the Intense version, and I thought, well, I like Libre, let's get the Intense version for Christmas or for birthday. And I was very lucky enough to receive a bottle of it, and oh my goodness, it's incredible. It is such a gorgeous scent. I really wish we had smell-o-vision so you could smell, oh, why am I showing you how amazing it is. Now, the notes in this, so your base notes, tonka bean, vanilla, amber, again, these really warm, rich scents, these musky scents, so vanilla, amber. There seems to be a theme going on with the type of scents that I like, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Middle notes, again, you've got jasmine, but then you've got orange blossom, and that's where some of that freshness comes through. Just a little bit of freshness, a little bit of citrus, but nothing too sickly sweet, nothing too cheap. Sometimes when a fragrance, in my opinion, contains a lot of citrus, it can smell quite cheap. But there's just a little bit in there to cut through the vanilla and the amber. And then your top notes are tangerine, bergamot and lavender. So bergamot is in there again, and it's just a beautiful combination of all of those notes. Now, I did say at the beginning that I don't tend to save perfumes for special occasions or for best. However, I think with this perfume I am gonna do that. One, because I absolutely love it, and two, because this is definitely the most sexiest perfume I own. This is the type of perfume that I put on and I feel so confident in. It's very heady, very woody, very musky, and it lasts for ages. So I stayed overnight at my boyfriend's the other day, and I didn't want to take with me this one because it's big and bulky, so I took this one instead. You can see the difference in sizes. And I didn't layer this one, so I just sprayed a couple sprays of this onto my wrists and sort of like pressed it into my body, and that was enough, and I could smell it throughout the rest of the day. Now, how I was using this perfume before I met my boyfriend was that if I went out on any dates, this was the perfume that I wore, because it was just, and I keep saying this word, but it really is, it's just such a sexy perfume. Makes you feel really confident. It's quite alluring. I feel like it's the type of perfume that people smell and they're intrigued by it, they want to know what it is. So once I've used up my Rihanna one and I start working on this one, I think I will save this one for special occasions, to be honest, because I think it might actually be a little bit too much for everyday use, and I don't want to use it every day and then to maybe not love it as much as I used to. So I might wear the number 5 on like a day-to-day basis, and if I'm going out anywhere of an evening or anywhere nice for the day, I'll pop this one on instead. Now, if you haven't tried this perfume, I would highly recommend you go out and try it. Go into, I was going to say Debenhams then, but it's closed down, hasn't it? Go into Selfridges or Harvey Nicks or any sort of like department store or Boots where they stock this. Give it a smell. It is just incredible. And actually, now that I'm talking about it, I think it might rival Chanel No. 5 for my top spot for my favourite perfume. It's close, you know. I think it might be up there. It might be joint top place. So clearly a perfume that I adore wearing. I love the scent of it, and one that I will definitely repurchase as well when the day comes when I run out of this. But for now, thankfully, I've got loads left. So comparing the scents, Chanel No. 5 on this hand is that little bit more girly, a little bit more feminine, a little bit more fruity, whereas Libre Intense is a bit more sophisticated, a bit more grown up, a bit more femme fatale, I suppose, and a lot headier, but both beautiful, beautiful fragrances. But what I want to talk about next are my notable favourites. So these are perfumes that I've tried before in the past and I would very much like to own again in the future, and I've got 4 of them that I want to talk about. First up is another Chanel one, and this is Coco Mademoiselle. And this is described as being a citrus perfume, and from memory it is a little bit more playful, a little bit more youthful in comparison to Chanel No. 5. Think of Chanel No. 5 as like your sophisticated older sister or your sophisticated older woman within the family, whereas Coco Mademoiselle is a younger female within the family, a lot more playful in essence. So the top notes are citrusy, so you've got orange in your top notes, mandarin and bergamot as well. Again, bergamot is cropping up. Middle notes are rose, jasmine and ylang ylang. Again, rose, one of my most favourite scents. Love the scent of rose. And base, you've got white musk, so a very heady, warm scent. And again, vanilla, tonka bean, which is very warm, and patchouli. And like with Chanel No. 5, I feel like Coco Mademoiselle can be that everyday fragrance, but it can also be a date night fragrance as well if you're feeling a little bit flirty, a little bit playful. A real beautiful, feminine, fruity fragrance. Next is one that I haven't owned for a few years, and when I put it into this notes last night, I thought, oh, I'm actually tempted to put that on my Christmas list if my family want any ideas. And it's by Givenchy, and it's Ange. And this perfume is like Easton Libre Intense, where it's very sexy and it's described as being sweet, but my memory of it is that it is a lot more heady and musky than sweet. But you do have sweetness in there with your top notes of orange. You've also got saffron and thyme in there. Middle is lily, ylang ylang again, orchid, and then base notes of vanilla and tonka bean. So these themes of these fragrances that I really enjoy wearing, the notes that I really enjoy, are really starting to kind of come through now. The bottle of this as well is really nice. I think from memory, I'm going to put up a picture, so it might be completely different to what I'm describing here, but from memory it is a kind of dark blue, dark purple, long, slender perfume. So a good sort of size for packing, for taking away with you on holiday or for the weekend, but also looks really nice on your dressing table as well. This could also be like a date night, an evening perfume. Not so much an everyday one, but I would wear that one as an everyday one. And this one I would describe as very much being an in-your-face perfume. Like I said at the beginning, I love a strong, heady, sexy perfume. In your face, you can't escape it, but it's not overpowering and not too intense. Penultimate perfume is another high-end brand, and this is by Calvin Klein, and this is Euphoria. And again, I've not owned this one in years. And this is a woody scent, so you have those base notes of mahogany, black velvet and amber. Again, amber is a note that's coming through that I seem to be really drawn to. Middle notes of black orchid and lotus, and then top notes are quite fruity, so you've got pomegranate in there and also persimmon. This one again is very heady and sexy, but it's more playful, whereas Easton Libre Intense is like a sophisticated woman who kind of knows that she's sexy, she knows that she's hot. Calvin Klein Euphoria, to me, I picture a woman who again is also sexy, but she's very playful with it. It's more of a relaxed, carefree type of scent. Those are the kind of like imagery that I'm, I suppose, thinking of when I'm describing these scents. The bottle is quite simple, it's quite understated, a very wide bottle, short and wide. Not too bad in terms of packaging as well, in terms of taking away with you on the weekend, but will still again look nice on your dressing table. And the one I'm going to end on is a good budget friendly high street option, and it's by Next, and it's the scent Gold. And I've not long finished up my bottle of Next Gold. I finished it up a couple of months ago, I think, and this tends to be a Christmas scent for me. I don't wear this scent year round. I associate this with Christmas. To me, it smells of Christmas, but without smelling of Christmas, as in it doesn't smell of pine or berries or cinnamon or mulled wine, but there's just something about it that just smells of Christmas to me. And that's the great thing with scents, with perfumes, is that they kind of take you back to a time or to a place or to an era. And I would describe this perfume as being fruity sweet. So the top notes are citrusy, so you've got grapefruit and you've got orange in there, but the middle notes cut through with ylang ylang, lily of the valley, and then base notes again, musk and amber. So that's where you've got that kind of undercurrent of warmth, of that headiness, of that musk. So I think it must be the citrus in this perfume that reminds me of Christmas, because nothing else in this perfume to me screams the scent of Christmas. And I love this perfume. It's one of my all-time absolute favourite perfumes. And I think if I was to rank all of these So obviously Yves Saint Laurent Libre Intense and Chanel No. 5 would be up there, and I think Next Gold would be pretty high up there as well. And then towards the bottom of those 7, I would probably put Chanel Coco Mademoiselle and Reb'l Fleur Love Always in there, and then the Calvin Klein one and the Givenchy sort of like in the middle. So as I was writing out all of the notes in my phone here, I was then curious about the notes that appeared most often. And this actually surprised me a little bit, because at the bottom of the ranking was Rose. Rose only appeared in 2 of these perfumes, and that really surprised me, because if you were to ask me what is my favourite scent, I would without a doubt say Rose. I love rose scented things. As long as it is a good quality rose though, it's not really cheap synthetic nasty rose, it's a good pure quality authentic rose. So it's interesting that it only appeared in 2 of the scents. It appeared in Chanel No. 5 and also in Chanel Coco Mademoiselle, so it must be a scent that Chanel like to use in their perfumes. Above that, appearing 3 times, we've got Jasmine, Tonka Bean and Bergamot. And then above that, appearing 4 times, I've grouped these ones together. So you've got your orangey citrus ones, so orange, mandarin and tangerine, and then also ylang ylang and musk. Ylang ylang and musk didn't surprise me at all. I knew that I love fragrances with musk. Whenever I seem to describe perfumes, and I always really describe them quite badly, I tend to say musk a lot. So kind of without knowing what's in there, I seem to, I suppose, be alright at smelling musk in perfumes. So no surprise that musk seems to be one of my favourite scents that I really like in perfumes. And then the top 2, again, no surprises to me, vanilla and amber. So I seem to like a bit of sweetness, but nothing too sickly sweet, and vanilla can be sickly sweet, but also a bit of earthiness, a bit of muskiness coming through with the amber there. So now that I've ordered all of these sort of scents here that I really enjoy wearing in fragrances, I think this could be quite useful for when I'm gonna, or if I were to buy any new perfumes that I've not tried before in the future. If I can sort of find out what notes are in them and I see things like rose, amber, musk, tonka bean in them, it's kind of a safe bet that I'm gonna like the fragrance. So it has been an interesting little exercise at doing this, so thank you very much for the video suggestion, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have tried any of the fragrances, any of the perfumes that I've mentioned in today's video, please let me know down below. Also, please let me know your favourite perfumes, or as well if you think there are any perfumes that I would really like based on the type of scents that I've just said that I enjoy wearing. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon for my next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.